Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Welcome back to my channel and to the start of this quite exciting for me new project. And this is what we're going to be making. It's a file folder folio stroke lapbook. I don't know what you'd call it, but I'm calling it a file folder folio, even though it's hard to say. And this is the sort more or less pretty much what we're going to end up with. It could end up slightly different as we go along. But first, before I start showing you how it looks inside, you can see there's loads of things going on in there. I need to show you how it started life. It started life as one of these. Now this came about because I wanted to do a file folder folio. I've seen lots of people making them, but I wanted something that gave me a bit of a step-by-step because I found them, you know, it was a bit daunting, and I wanted to do something that was quite interactive and had lots going on. And I stumbled across this lady's channel. Her name's Shellie Geigle. I will link her tutorial below. It's amazing, her tutorial. She's so good. She gives you all the measurements, and it's really clear how to make it. But it just so happened, although I was looking for something using a file folder or number of file folders, her one actually uses 12 by 12 white scrapbook paper. Well, white cardstock. I mean, it's usually what we use in scrapbooking, and I had plenty of that, so I thought, well, in order to make the file folder one, I needed to make her one, which was made from 12 by 12 scrapbooking paper, or white cardstock, should I say. So I've made that one, which I will show you first, and this one is very much aimed at people putting in photographs. It's for photo mats, tucking in photographs, so therefore it's that bit bigger. It's the size of it is, I think it's something like 8 1/4 by 6 1/2. Now I've got that written down somewhere, but I can't remember, but I will confirm that. But yeah, if you watch her tutorial, she gives you all the sizes. She gives you a print off of all the measurements and everything, so it's really good to watch, and I've found it very helpful when I've been sort of recreating it in the smaller size. So I'll just show you how this one looks. It's all fastened with magnets. And the kit I've used for this, she uses Stamperia paper pad. In fact, she uses 2 Stamperia paper pads. The same one, it's just that she needed lots of it, which was quite a big expense just for something that I was playing around with. So I've actually used a digital kit, which works perfectly well. And I happened to have already just bought it, so it was a perfect use for it. This is the Shabby Dabby Doodah kit. It's called Bluebirds and Blossoms, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I thought it would be a lovely way to use that in something a bit different. So that's what this is. This is covered with that particular digital kit is what I've used for this one. And I'll tell you all the other kits that I'll be using as I go along. So yeah, so it opens up, and it's all magnetised, but the magnets are all hidden. So it just clips like that. You open it up, and then it opens up, keeps opening, opens up like that. And then it opens up like that. So this is the front page. So there's a pocket here, and this is what she calls panel 2. So this is panel 1. This is now panel 2. This flips up, and it flips down. So you've got the flip up and the flip down. Then so you can put a photograph on each of those. Then it flips open here and open here. So you see you've got a pocket here. And you've got a pocket, let's get this one out of the way, and you've got a pocket here, and then it opens again, opens that way, and it opens that way. And in her, when I've just had to slightly adjust mine because I have obviously I'm not using the same kit as her, so I put a little corner sort of pocket tuck place there. She does it slightly differently, but basically this is the same. So this is all places to add photographs. And I think it showcases this kit actually really well, because it's really pretty. I loved using it, and I hope to use it again for something else. So that's the first panel. So that flips in, goes in like that. No, hang on, you've got to get it in the right order. So that goes like that, that goes like that, that goes in like that, that goes in like that, that flips up, that flips down. The bits of lace are just my little decorative addition, but you could really go mad on the decoration. In fact, on the other one that I'm going to show you, I have gone a bit more overboard with decoration. So that's the first panel, and then the second panel. Then this is now the third panel. So again, so what this one does, it opens out like that, and it opens out like that. So you've got, trying to keep it all in frame. So you've got this pocket here, and then it flips over, and you've got more space here to journal or to add photographs. So that goes like that, and then the same on here. You've got pocket here, there's more space here, and then it's decorated on the other side as well. So it folds and flaps out like that. And then you've got inside, you've got this flip up, and you have a flip down, and right inside you have a waterfall photo flip. So you've got somewhere to add photos, one of these waterfall things like so, and so it's all places to add photographs or whatever you want. So that's this one. So then that comes up, that flaps down, that comes in, and that comes in, and that's all of it. So so we just, now I've got to remember how to fold this in. It goes, folds in like that, folds over like that, and then this comes over and clips shut like that. So that's the one that Shellie makes. It's very much aimed at adding photographs. So I thought it would actually make a wonderful wedding gift, because if you use the Stamperia ceremony pad that I used for my first wedding journal, if you use that on this for the wedding photographs and for things to for wedding photographs and other mementos, this would be quite a nice gift as an alternative to a journal. And funnily enough, I had thought that anyway. My friend who I made the sewing journal for, she was visiting last weekend, and I was showing her this, and I said, you know, and I just said in passing, I said it would make a really nice thing for a wedding. And she said, oh, could you make one for my daughter who's getting married next year? Her daughter was meant to be getting married this year. It got postponed. In fact, I think she was meant to be getting married last year originally, but put after this year's been put off again to next year. So she'd like me to make her one of these for her wedding. So I thought, oh, that's perfect, because I actually thought, as I was doing this, I thought this was really nice for a wedding one. If you did it all, you could still add lots of lace and make it really, really pretty, but you've got lots of spaces to add photographs. So I thought, well, that would be a lovely project to do in the future. I've got plenty of time. I've got a year to go. But anyway, so that's the Shellie Geigle original version, and I think it's lovely. But I wanted to use a file folder. I wanted to do something a bit more junk journal-y, I suppose you'd call it, with lots of places to tuck things and, you know, put with pockets and tuck spots and all sorts. So I started working on this one, and as you can see, it's considerably smaller because that's the size of the file folder. I've just used a single file folder as my base. Now, I'm not sure if file folders are the same size the world over. I'll give you all my sizes when I do the tutorial on how to make it. But as you can see, it is somewhat smaller. The size of this is actually 7.5. I mean, that's the size, that's the length or the height I decided to go for, just to keep it in some sort of proportion. You could make it longer, by 4 3/4 wide. So that's how it worked out. And I'll go through all the dimensions as we make it. So I'll just do a little flip through of this one now. Now the kit I used for this is by Pink Monarch Prints. It's an absolutely gorgeous kit. It's called Vibrant Melodies. It's enormous, this kit. It had 18 different pages in the kit. So even though I printed them all off, and probably some of them more than once, I didn't actually end up using them all. But there's lots of different pages in there, and it's just pretty, really gorgeous. So let's have a look in this one, and I'll kind of show you where I've made changes as I've gone along. And I might make more changes on the next one, I don't know, depending on, because you're kind of guided by the kit that you're using as to how it's going to look, and I'm going to use a different kit for the next one. Alright, so it opens up. There's a magnet behind here. I'll show you where the magnets get placed. You will need a few magnets. And then it opens up like this, same idea. I'll have this one at the ready so I can kind of bring it in and show you the differences as I go along. So this is the first panel. And this, you can see I've been using, I used one of my little stamped seal decorative pieces here with a bit of, yes, a bit of sari silk. And so this is the first panel. So on this one, on the big one, I've just got a pocket. Let's try and show you. So there's a pocket on this one. So I did do a pocket, but it was obviously it was a much smaller space. But I did, and then I made a tag to go in it. So that's on that one. So this is the first panel. You can see we've got this one here where they've got the flip up and the flip down. Now what you will find, I actually stuffed this so much I had to put some Velcro fastening. It's not part of the original plan, but it got a little bit fat, so I needed to hold it down. So I've actually Velcroed it, the two flaps together, because I've added pockets and bits and pieces to just about everything. So on the original there are no pockets, but on this one I have a pocket here with a tuck going in there, and then I have a pocket here and another little tag here. I mean, you could get more things in, that's just what I put in there. And then it flips out both sides, and then I added a little envelope, so that flips out again. So this envelope has got a little journal card in, like that. Oop, having trouble getting it back in now. So that's got a little journal card, and then there's a pocket here with a tag. And as you'll see, that some of these pockets and some of the journal cards are all in the shape of a file folder, which I thought was appropriate, but that was all part of the kit. There were lots of these little file folders in the ephemera as part of the ephemera, so I actually made the most of that and kept in with the theme of it being a file folder, but that just happened to be what was in that kit. And then on this side, yet again, I've got another little envelope that flips out with another journal card and another tag here that goes in, and that goes in. So there's the first flip out. Then we've got the next one. So you've got this one and this one, and again I've added envelopes. So on this one I added a larger envelope. So I've got this envelope here, and there's because it's a bit slightly bigger one than the other one the others I've been using, I got a little postcard in here. This is just one, I think it was a freebie, or one of the freebies from Artie Mays. I just thought that was really pretty. So I've backed that as a little journaling card that goes into that envelope. And then there's a side tuck on this side with another postcard in. So that's that one. Again, writing on the back. Everything, all this is made with the kit. I mean, it's so pretty. There's so many colours in it. So that's that side with a slightly larger. And you could decorate all this, but it was getting quite fat with all the things I was adding. And then this one, I thought I'd just do a bit differently. So I've actually got two envelopes here. So that flips like that. Got a little journaling card in. And it flips out again with another little card in here. And then we've got the same side tuck here with another of those Artie Mays postcards. And the colours couldn't have gone better, really, could it? Look at that, it's perfect. But it actually came with the completely different kit. So that goes in there. And then just for good measure, I popped a pocket here with another tag. Alright, so let's see if I can remember how to close this all up. So that goes in that way. Whoops. That goes in like that. Folds in like that. Folds in. Folds in. Flips up. And you can see why I needed the Velcro. And flips down, and I just hold that down with that. So that's panel 2. And then we have panel 3. So this is the one that folds out with a sort of two pages that goes out. But again, I've added an envelope to this one, and then it folds out like that. So there's a nice little curvy corner tuck there with a tag in there. And this pocket flips out, and then on the other side I've left that blank. You could write on that, I think it's pale enough. And then I've added another little, I put a little vellum pocket here just for something different, because I thought the background paper was just so pretty, I didn't want to cover it all up. And another little tag in there. So that's that one. Same here, flips the other way. There's the little envelope. Pull it open, the rounded corner, and the tag there. And then on the other side again we have the vellum pocket and the tag. Alright, so that's that way. So that's the first opening bit, and then this is the flip up and the flip down. Now I'll just remind you what was in the original on this bit. So these were the bits to pull out, which I've added extra bits to, as you've seen, like that. Now this is, you know, quite a big flip up, but in fact I think I've put that paper on upside down. I've just noticed. I've put this paper on upside down, but it doesn't really matter. So so yeah, so these are just left blank, but then you'd be covering it up probably with photographs, and the same with the other one. And then you had this waterfall thing in the middle for photographs. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want the waterfall in mine. So let's move it out the way again. So on the flip up, I actually put this piece of baker's twine behind the paper to hold this down, because I wanted to hold this little notebook down. You know, untie it. I don't have to untie it, but I thought I'd just show you how it was put together. So all I've done is I put a little belly band here. I made this little booklet, really. I suppose it's like a little scrappy little what do you call it? It's not a booklet. Little thingy with papers on. My brain's gone. And then I just put on, I've used a piece of file folder just as a bit of, for a bit of firm backing, and then that tucks behind notebook. That's what it is, it's a little notebook. So that tucks behind the belly band. That goes there. But I thought it would sort of flap about as you close it. So I thought I need something to keep it in place. So then I put in the bit of baker's twine around the bottom part, just to hold it there, to stop it interfering when it done a really good job of that, didn't I? Okay, let's have another go. Yeah, just sort of stop it flapping about. I've missed it again. Oh well, never mind, I'll come back to that. Oh God, that'd teach me to try and do a bow on camera, won't it? Right, so I've got the little pad there, and then in the bottom flap I've got a pocket going across, and just a few little pieces of ephemera, bits and pieces just tucked in there, and decorated it up a bit. And then in the middle, instead of the waterfall, because it's quite narrow, so you know it's going to be a bit tight for to put photographs or something like that, and I could have just put the notepad in the middle. That would have been easy, wouldn't it? But no, I had to make my life difficult and put little pockets. So I put 3 little narrow pockets, all with this file folder tab, all taken from the kit. All the kit had a lot of ephemera had this file folder edge, and I thought that just worked really well for putting in some pockets. And I've just put some little tiny tickets and little pieces of ephemera, just tuck them in to all those pockets. There's lots of little tiny tags and little tickety pieces in the kit. Nearly all of it comes from the kit. There's a few little bits that I think I think that might be from an Artie Mays freebie. But most of these bits actually come from the kit itself. So that flips up, that flips down, that folds in like that. So you can see it goes like that. That folds in like that. And then the whole thing folds in, and clips shut. And there it is. I think it's a genius design. It's so neat. You can just stick it on a shelf and it takes hardly any room up. I mean, look at that. But there's so much going on in there. I just thought it was great. I love it. So I thought, let's do one of these. Let's make one. I've never done any kind of tutorial before, or anything that I would call a tutorial, but I'm going to try and show you how I made this. And go through the process, give you all the sizes and things as I go along, and see how we get on, and hope that some of you might join me on this journey and make one of these with me. Do let me know if you do. I'll be right back, and I'll gather all the things together that I'm going to use so I can show you exactly what supplies you need, and then we'll make a start. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've collected together the supplies I'm going to use, and I'll just go through them with you so you know whether you've got them or if you want to get them. I know a lot of people do use file folders. I've only recently been able to buy some because couldn't really get them over here for a long time, unless you wanted to buy a pack of 100, which wasn't really feasible. But Amazon now do packs of 24, so I got myself a pack, and that's when I started looking for some way of using them to make one of these folios. So as I said before, I don't know whether different countries do different size file folders. These are the ones I've got. The length is just shy of, let's have a look, it's about 11.5, just slightly over 11.5, 11 and 11 and 5/8 in height, and depending on which bit of the file folder you measure, but if you measure it, it's about 9 inches wide, folded. And I'll give you the full measurements of how I actually use it when we start. So I found that I needed to use 4 of these, and I still had quite a few bits left over, cut-offs, but I did start with use 4 new file folders to make the whole thing. So that's the basis of your folio, is these 4 of these. And then you will need a good kit with lots of papers in it, because as you could see, there's lots of things to be covered. The whole folio and the envelopes and everything all need covering. So you need to find, if you want to use a kit, or you can use Stamperia if you want to and follow Shellie's tutorial. But if you're going to use a digital kit, I'd recommend finding one that's got a lot of pages in it. So the first kit I used was the Shabby Dabby Doodle one, the Bluebirds and Blossoms. There was lots of pages in that, and that had ephemera as well. You need the combination of the two, I think. And then I used the Pink Monarch Prince one for the little folio, the smaller one, the file folder one, which was Vibrant Melodies. All of these kits I will link below. And then to make this one with you, I'm using this kit. I've actually had this, one of the first kits I ever bought, and I've just reprinted a whole load of it. And it's the Artie May Shabby Chic kit. I've used it quite, when I first got it to make ephemera and things, but I haven't used it for a journal, and I think it's just so beautiful. So I've got these lovely ladies, and it's got bird cages, and lots of really pretty florals, and it's got the pink and the turquoise, lovely colours. So I've printed all of these, but because I think there was 9 different pages in this kit, there are 18 different pages in the Pink Monarch Prince kit, so I've printed all of them twice, just to make sure I've got plenty. And I've also printed it all onto 120 GSM paper, rather than the slightly thinner copy paper, which is 80 GSM. This is 120. It's just a little bit thicker, just because I think when you're using, I'm probably going to be using tacky glue, it's just a little bit easier to glue to use the glue. I don't really want to use a glue stick because it all curls up. And when you're using big sheets like at a time, big pieces to cover the pages, I think you need something that's got just a little bit more robust, the paper. I think when I did the first one, with the birds and blossoms, I printed that all onto even thicker paper, onto 160 GSM, which was fine. I mean, it worked lovely, but you don't need to go as thick as that. This one, and this is a slightly oatmeal-y colour, but you can get it in a cream. I think I used cream, the same one in a cream on the other file folder, on this one. But it's a personal choice. You can do it all on copy paper as well. And I'm sure it could be fine. Use whatever glue works for you, really, if you're going to make this with me. But this is the choices that I've made. That the 120 is quite thick enough, but it's just a little bit more robust than the copy paper. So this is the kit. It's really, really pretty colours. It's got butterflies, and you've got so many options then of decorating. And these little bird cages and butterflies, and what else have we got in here? Lots of roses, lots of florals. Oh, I printed this one 3 times by the looks of it. That's good. 4 times. Blimey, I must have got a bit carried away with that one, I think. I've got lots of pages of this one. I must have forgotten that I printed it and did it again. And then look at that, isn't that pretty? Pink roses, all the turquoise. I mean, all the the colour combinations that I love. And so lots of this. So that's the kit. And then for additional decorations, I've got all the ephemera pieces already ready to go, cut out. But I thought in case I needed some more decorative pieces, I've got a few bits and pieces that I think coordinate. This is also by Artie Mays. This is from one of her freebies. This is from another freebie kit. I thought the colour might go, just as a few extra pages. And then I've printed off these ladies, because there's a couple of really pretty ladies in the kit. I thought maybe for decoration I could use some of these. These are by Digital Butterflies, and these are just a single sheet of vintage ladies, but I really like them. And then I thought I'd have another look, see if I could get some other ones. These are Artie Mays again. I mean, her stuff is amazing. I've got so many of her kits. And this is called Female Beauties, and she actually has 3 different kits of female beauties. And I've printed these half size, so 1 page. This would be 1 page, so they're full-size journal cards. But I thought I might want them smaller, so I've printed 2 to a page. I think this is kit number 1, but I couldn't absolutely. It's either 1 or 3, but I'm not absolutely sure. But I know there were 3 different ones to choose from. So I've got 2 pages. Both of them printed half size, just so that I could use them to decorate tags or journal cards, rather than have them as a journal card in their entirety. Although I may still print them off and do that as well. I'm not sure at the moment. And just a few other bits in here, I think. I think these must have been when I printed them off on copy paper before, and I think that's a bit too thin, but I've got a few more extra bits if I need it of the kit. So that's all the stuff that I'm going to use as far as excuse me as far as papers go. So that will be the papers. And then the only other things that you will need, I've got here. So you might need some Velcro, depending on how thick the flips up and down go. So I've just got some Velcro there. You definitely will need some magnetic discs. These are the ones that Shellie used, so I bought the same ones just because I know they work, because they're very thin, so they don't really bulk up your, you can easily cover them over. You'd almost never know it was there. There's actually 2 on here, but they're hidden. So there's one here and there's one here, and then there's obviously I've got corresponding ones on this side. In fact, I think we've ended up with 3 in the end. I can't even remember where they all are now. They're all covered up, but they work brilliantly. You get a pack of 12, but the 12, there's actually 6 because they're pairs, pluses and minuses. But and you'll need 3 pairs for the for the folio. Then you'll need a selection of envelopes. Now the envelopes I used in the other one, I don't think I've hardly got any of those left. I might have, I think I've only got one. I used quite a lot of these little brown envelopes in the last one. These are the ones I used the most, but this is the only one I've got left. So I've had a bit of a hunt, and I've got some other quite small ones, slightly bigger than that one, but I think they'll work. I think I did use one of these as the larger envelopes. I've still got some of those left. Got these as well, which are slightly different size. I mean, it doesn't matter as long as they fit. It doesn't matter what size your envelopes are, really, as long as they fit in the folio. So a selection of small envelopes is what you need. I don't know if I don't know where I've got what I'll use. Whether I use this is a little pack or something. I don't know whether I'll use it. And that's pretty much it, apart from your glue and any other decorative pieces. So I've got all of the ephemera is all cut out, ready to go. There's lots of butterflies and pretty things to add, and journal cards and tags and things. I've got those cut, ready to go. And I'll just keep them all in my project, what I call my project box. So I'll keep that all in there, keep it all together, so that I can keeps it all tidy. And that's it. Right, so that's the supplies. Now I think we need to start making this folio, don't you? So I'll get started. I'm just going to put this slightly further out of the way, because it takes quite a lot of space to do this. So I'm going to put the papers over here, tuck them out of the way a little bit, because I need to spread out. Now, when it comes to choosing, because these, obviously all the file folders, as you can see, have all got this little tabby bit in different places. And I think if you're following where I score, you'll need to do it using the same, because I worked all my scoring out based on, for this one, based on the file folder that I was using, which was, I believe, this one, where you've got a little bit cut away here and then the long tab here. If you see, this is the piece of paper, or the piece of the file folder, should I say. It's not identical, but you need the one that starts, to get the right measurements, you need the one that starts with the cutaway here, not, so if I show you one of these, this one is the other way. It has the tab bit sticking out and the cutaway down here. You need to be measuring it from this bit in order to match what I'm doing. Oh, by the way, I do apologise for my horrible fingernails, but I was using food colouring to dye a load of papers yesterday, because it was a warm day and I was able to put them out in the garden, and it's left my fingernails. It's a turquoise food dye, and my fingernails have just not quite got the colour. They're a bit stained, sort of dark, horrible tealy colour. So I do apologise if you think I've got filthy nails. It is genuinely because of this food colouring, concentrated food colouring, jade. So that's what I was using, and it's made some beautiful papers. In fact, they might go in this. I might be able to use them, I don't know, in the file folder, because they're the right colour. And I also did some avocado dyeing, so I've got pink as well. So, but I've also did some lace, so that might go in. We'll see. That's just by the by. So let's start with our first file folder, and it's the one with the cutaway here, so that the measurements will work as far as the scoring that I did. So the whole length, or the whole width across here, from side to side, should be, and I'll double check, 17 3/4 inches. So if you measure there, I'll just get a pencil, so I keep putting my arm across here, sorry about that. So if I measure it and make a mark at the 12, and then from there So yeah, in fact it's slightly less. This is 17 and 5/8 in the end. So not quite the 3/4, but hopefully it'll all work out. Now it took me quite a while to work out my scoring so that it would all fall in the right places, because I needed to use or to incorporate the natural fold, because if you try to do it without using that will keep throwing everything out. So I managed to work it that this is part of one of the score lines is actually the one that's already there, and that's why it's important to do it, you know, from here and follow the way I've done it. Just because if you don't do it right, it won't fall in the right place. That fold line or score line won't fall in the right place. So I'll just get my scoreboard out, my gigantic scoreboard. It goes on forever, this scoreboard. Look at this, it's crazy. But it works for these larger things, so that's quite good. And I've just got all my instructions. Look, I've written it all down, all my measurements. Right, so, and I'm going to be doing it from left to right. I know some scoreboards do it the other way around. You'll just have to figure it out. If I give you the measurements, and then you'll be able to see where you need to score from. So from here, and it's got to be from this top each time. So I'm going to do the first 2 scores from here, then I'm going to turn it over and score it from the other side. Okay, so where's my little... I'm going to use the score tool from this one, because it works better than the one from this board. So the first score line, so this, what we should have, I've just written down, from this side to this side, it should be 8 1/4. And if it isn't, I'm in trouble. So it's 8 1/8. So it's possibly, so I'm hoping that the sizes will still work. If it doesn't, I'm going to stop and redo it. So my score, the first score from the left is at 3 1/8. Let's see if this works. 3 1/8 is there. Oh, no, first of all I've got to cut it, haven't I? I need to cut it down. I do apologise. I've left that bit out. You don't really want to do it this size, do you? No, I need to cut it down 7 1/2. So sorry about that. I left that small, quite important part out. Okay, so the height I've chosen to do 7 1/2, and I think that works quite well. So I think I'm going to do it that way round. So I've got the spine up against the side of the cutter. Make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, got your first scrap. Okay, now we have the size that we want, and it's a bit easier to work with. Right, bring the scoreboard back in. So, okay, my score, the first score, again, is at 3 1/8. So there's a 3 1/8. Bring it down. Yep. I hope no, has that gone right? It's shifting a little. Yeah, it shifted. Right. 3 1/8, and then the next one is 3 3/4. So the thing about this folio as compared to the first one that Shellie did, the spines have to be exactly the same. Whatever width you make your individual panels, the spines have to be all the same width. That's the important thing. That's the sort of starting point really, is in order to get the proper depth for everything and get everything in, you mustn't change the size of the spines. So this first spine, so it's measured at 3 1/8 and then at 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 is there. So the actual width of the spine is always going to be the same on all of the spines, and it's just a case of how much space you leave between the spines, and that's the only bit that varies. Alright, so that's your first one, the first 2 cuts, and then this piece you leave, and so that will be the next fold. So I'm going to turn it around and still have the same bit at the top, so we still start from the top and come in from this side. So the first score will be 2 1/8. 2 1/8 goes there. Now I don't want it to slip, so I've got to try and hold it firm. Oops, tends to turn on me. 2 1/8 there, and then the next one is at 3 5/8. So 3 1/2, 5/8. I will put all these measurements in the description box below, the score measurements, or I might put them in a caption over the top. That might even be better, mightn't it? Put them in the caption. I'll try and do that. Okay, so that's that. Then you need another one at 8 1/8. So that's over here. 8 1/8. And then the final one is at 9 1/2, which is where this one is, which is the one that's already there. So that's at 9 1/2. So let's now try and fold that in and see if it works. If it doesn't, we'll have to rethink. Could be back tomorrow if it's all gone horribly wrong while I rethink the measurements. Right, so this is the inside. Now hang on. Let's get this right. This is the inside, but it's that way up. That's right. Get it round the right way. So you want this bit to be the bit that's cut in. So you want it to be, fold it like that. And then fold it in again at the next fold line, and burnish. Then you've got your first little spine. So there you go, like that. And then you fold in this one. And again, the next score line. Let's do it from that side actually. And then that's the deeper spine on the other side. And then at the next, where are we? Yeah, that score line. Let's fold this out. You've got to make sure it's lining up. And then the last one is the original middle score line, and that just folds, that creates the other spine. So the idea is it goes in like that, turns over like that, and then you've got that folding in like that, and then you've got all this, all that space to fill. You can see that. So yeah, I think we're okay. So the score lines seem to have worked, which is a relief. Took me quite a while to work all that out. Now what I'm going to do, I think next, is I'm going to ink all around the file folder and all the score lines, because it makes it a lot easier to work inside the panels if you can see all the score lines quite clearly, and it looks nicer to have it all inked anyway. So I will turn off the camera, I'll ink all around it, and then we'll come back and take it to the next stage. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and I've inked around the whole thing. I've inked around most of it with the Victorian Velvet. I decided not to just stick with the good old vintage photo for the whole thing, because I thought the Victorian Velvet actually goes quite nicely with the pinks in the kit. So I've gone around everything with the Victorian Velvet. So this is the inside and the outside, and then all I've done is taken the what's it called? Vintage photo. Oh, brain's gone. The vintage photo, and I've literally just done the edges of the score lines just to kind of give that extra bit of aging and distressing. But the rest of it has all got that slightly pinkish, so it's like a warm pink, and the Distress Oxide is the one I've used. So I think that works quite nicely. So it just fits in quite well with the colour scheme. So the next thing to do, and it's something that Shellie does in her tutorial, and I think it's a really good thing because it kind of keeps you focused on where you are, because there's so many panels and different parts, is you label it all. Label all the panels. So on the inside, starting from the left, this is panel 1. She also labels the spines. I think the spines are fairly self-explanatory, but this is spine 1, 2 and 3, and I'm not going to label them. I think that's not really necessary. So then this is panel 2, because then when we're making the flips and the flaps and the folds and the goodness knows what, we know where we're working. We're working on panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, and guess what? Panel 4 is this little one on the end, and then we've got the 3 spines, and then we turn it over, and to label the outside, so this is the Folio front, you can see, closure, because that's the bit that wraps around the front. So that's this piece, the Folio front closure. Then the next one along is the back outside of the folio. So that is this piece. And the next one along, I think these are the ones that are a bit confusing because some of them actually face the front, but they're on the back of the file folder. So the next one along, which is this one, is the front of folio, and then this one here we call outside panel. So if you turn it around, so that folds in So that's the outside panel. So that's actually this one here. That's the outside panel. And then when you fold it over, you will see front of folio. So it's this one. And then the front folio, front closure is the one that flaps over there, which is that one. It's just to make it clear. And I think it does help to label everything, to know exactly what you're working with. So the next thing that we need to do is, so I've got all my little instructions here. I literally wrote it all down as I was making it. I wrote it all down, wrote all the instructions, wrote all the sizes. I hope I've got it right. And then sometimes you go back and you look and think, now why did I do that then? But the next thing is to actually set your magnets. So as part of when you're doing all your panels, on panel 4, just want to roughly mark where you want to put your magnets. Now on the original, on Shellie's original, she comes in 1 inch and down 2 inches to set her magnets approximately. But because this is quite narrow here, it's going to actually bring the magnet quite close to the edge. So I'm actually going to just mark. So we just mark where the magnets go. So if I'm going to put mine just about half an inch from this side, I think, because it's quite a narrow, and you just do a circle just to give you a rough idea where you want your magnet to go. I think I might have it a little higher than that. Right there. And then you just try and line it up. I mean, it's not an exact science, but roughly line it up there and put your circle so that it's, in fact I think I need to bring it in a little bit, roughly above each other. I mean, they're going to be covered up, so it's not really going to show. So just mark roughly where you want them. And then we get our magnets, and we'll need 2 pluses and 2 minuses. Now I'll take the little plastic liner out, make it easier for them to come out, won't it? So just pop those out. 1, 2. They want to stick to each other, so try and keep them separate. 2 pluses, 2 minuses. There's your minuses. Right, so we take our magnets, see where we're going to want them. That's about right. So it lines them up a bit there. And then just stick those on. Just going to use my little, oops. They want to stick to everything. So just use my little craft knife to release the cover. Let's get hold of it. There we go. So then that's got the sticky on the back there. So I'm just going to pop that there. And the same at the bottom. Just getting your knife underneath and just releasing the backing. Not going to lose it because it wants to adhere to that. Okay, so then we just pop that on there like that. So now I've got your 2 magnets. Now you just want to put one on each, one of the minuses on each one. Now the way that Shelley shows you how to do it, and it works, and it's a very good system, and it's worked for both of the ones I've made. Hopefully I can do it on camera as well. Is you hold it up and you put your corners together like so, and then as long as you line up the top like that, you can then stick that in place. So as long as these 2 bits are lined up. So that's the idea. So I'm going to try and do that now. take the cover off. Okay, stand it up, put your corners, one corner inside the other so that it's all lined up nicely. Line the top up and hopefully that will stick in place like that. Okay, and then all you've got to do, turn it around, do the same the other side, but of course you've got one magnet already in place. So that's just going to peel off like that. It should go in quite easily. So again, line this up, and then the other magnet's already attached itself, so therefore it goes quite nicely, and then you've got it all ready to go, and it's all ready to decorate. So I think this might be a good place to stop for this video. So I'm hoping that you might feel inclined to join me and have a go at making one of these. I think it's going to be lots of fun. So I will finish this one for now today. We'll come back in the next video and I will decorate all of the outside, and we might even start working on the inside. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. I hope you like the idea of this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.